and welcome to I'm Your Biggest Fan, the podcast. I don't know if you heard that, but Toothless, my new kitten, is on the podcast today. We won't be talking about his favourite band though. He's made me lose my train of thought. I'm your host, Jazmin L'Amy, in conjunction with the Noizze Podcast Network and sponsored by Satanic Tico. Today's chat I'm super excited about because this is a band I've been into for a little while now, especially on their latest album cycle. So good to finally chat to them, meet them. So the person I'm talking to today is Castillo, the vocalist of the Michigan-based metalcore alternative band Conquer Divide, that also features members from Texas and the United Kingdom. They're signed to Mascot Records. They currently have 2 full-length albums out, 2015 self-titled and 2023's Slow Burn, which I highly recommend. It is bloody wonderful. All of the breakdowns, all of the gurgurs, and some sick melody in there as well. They have toured and collaborated with some huge names from Electric Callboy to Icy Stars, Beartooth Slaves, and so many more. The band Kia is talking about today. I don't think they need any introduction at all, unless you've been living under a rock. Today we are talking about the immeasurable Hayley Williams and Paramore. This is a great chat because, I mean, it's quite obvious that Hayley Williams and Paramore is a huge influence on Kia, and the way that she talks about them and the fact she's only seen them once, which is very recently actually, when she recounts that story, is so wholesome. And I think a lot of people just like me, it's so easy to see yourself in Kia's reactions and storytelling and all of the emotions and all of the excitement. So yeah, sit back, enjoy, and I'll chat to you again soon. And so will Toothless, who also makes an appearance later on in this episode if you're watching this as well. Cool. So I'm not sure how much you were told before this chat, but this podcast is basically all about you getting to forget about being a musician for a bit and reminiscing on the one band that changed it all for you when you were a kid, getting into music. I find that, especially in today's day and age with social media, fans seem to forget that their favorite bands are also just fans of music like they are. So, yes, and I also imagine, like, on album cycles and tour cycles, that you get asked the same questions. So yeah, this is just basically just a chance for you to fangirl the fuck out of your favorite band.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we love it. I've been told that the band you want to talk about today is Paramore.
Yeah, not even just Paramore, but like Hayley Williams, specifically, you know?
Yeah, of course.
I know that Paramore, like obviously Paramore is more than just Hayley Williams, but I don't really, I play a little bit of guitar, but I don't really play any other instruments. So really she is, like, for me, like, when I think of Paramore, that's what I think of, is Hayley Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially as well, just that tends to be the way with, front men and front women. It's, their purpose is to be the face most of the time. So it's a bit hard to not associate.
Yeah, especially as a vocalist myself. Usually when I listen to any music, that's like what I'm focusing on.
Yeah.
I've seen these like videos where people do this thing where they'll like play just the drums of a song and they're like, guess what song this is? And I'm like listening to it and I'm like, I have no idea. No clue.
Just the same beat for like a million songs in the universe that it could be.
Yeah, I only just recently started being able to like recognize like when it's just drums from even some of my own songs. I'm like, oh, I know this one.
That's
and
hilarious.
I've been listening to those for a while.
Yeah, those are the ones like you live with day in and day out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, so Well, I guess the best place for us to start is the very beginning. Do you remember
Yeah,
the first time you heard Paramore?
I do. It's crazy because I actually talk about this moment, I feel like a lot. Um, I have like always been like a singer my whole life. My whole family is super musical. But I remember the first time I heard Paramore, it was Misery Business. I was in high school. I think I was like driving around with one of my friends and they played it and I was like, this is so cool. Like, how does she make her voice sound like that, you know? And I remember going home and like showing my older sister, like, you have to listen to this song. And like, I remember the specific moment and like when she does, not one of them involving. And I was like,
Yeah.
how did she do that? That's so cool. Um, so yeah, I remember like when I heard that, I remember being like, I want to sing like that, you know?
Hmm.
And like from that moment forward, like every time I sang anything, I tried to like mimic her voice, like with everything that I did.
Yeah.
Um, it's like I feel like it was like the first time I like heard like what vibrato was, you know, and I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that definitely like changed everything about how I sing and like the type of music that I'd like to listen to.
Yeah. So when you first heard Paramore, what were you listening to just before that?
I was listening to a lot of Avril Lavigne.
Okay.
I also like I was like when I first heard them, I was like still I was young, so I was like still trying to find like where I fit in like with my friends and stuff. So I was listening to like a lot of like rap and stuff, like a lot of like this is so silly because it's not related at all, but I was listening to like a lot of like Waka Flocka Flame.
Okay.
Um and but like I was also like my older brother was super into System of a Down, so I was also listening to that.
Okay.
I was super into Linkin Park at the time. Um but yeah, like I feel like I was kind of all over the place. And then that like kind of helped me like hone in
Hmm.
on like a little bit more like, okay, I think I do like rock music.
Yeah. So you were kind of subjected to like both types of rap and I guess like new metal as well. And it wasn't
Yeah,
until you heard, because I find, so for me when I was getting into music, like my mum brought me up on Bon Jovi, which is great, still love Bon Jovi, but it wasn't until like I discovered Guns N' Roses on my own terms.
yeah,
And I find that it tends to be that first band you discover in your own time when it's not like in your face kind of thing.
yeah,
So I guess like
yeah,
if it would just like came on in the car and no one was like, you should listen to this, and it just so happens to be there and have that
yeah.
impact on you, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think too, like, you know, my mom would like every like Saturday morning, would like turn on music and like clean the house, you know? And so we listened to like a lot of Mariah Carey. I listened to a lot of Destiny's Child, like growing up. And I think the cool thing that I loved about Paramore was like it was the first time I felt like both of my worlds were like kind of merging.
Hmm.
Um, where I was like able to listen to like the heavier, not heavier, but like more rocky stuff that like my brother was listening to, but like also combined with like the stuff that me and my sister and my mom like to listen to.
Yeah.
It was like a marriage of worlds. And I mean, I still listen to like a lot of very, very different things. I still listen to like a lot of rap music,
Hmm.
mostly Cardi B, but still. Um, but yeah, I feel like that Paramore is the one that like kind of has stood the test of time for me.
Yeah. You mentioned there as well that you were listening to a bit of Avril Lavigne before. So what
Yeah.
was it specifically, I guess, about like Hayley Williams and her vocal style that changed it all for you compared to Avril Lavigne?
I think like so I really loved Avril Lavigne because like I liked the style of like the composition of the songs and I liked her voice because it was like very pretty and you know she does a lot of those like ups and downs in her voice like and I really liked that. But I think when I heard Paramore for the first time it felt like more powerful.
Hmm.
Like it felt more like not just singing, it felt like there was a little bit more like grit behind it. It was like just so different because it wasn't like just like sad music. It was like empowering kind
Mm-hmm.
of.
Yeah, I
So
totally.
yeah, I don't know, it's just different. And I was like, I've never heard anything like this before.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. Like the thing I love about like females in rock and metal, the reason I love rock and metal is because like it's dirty, it's gritty, it's like edgy, I guess. But especially when it's like being delivered by um like a feminine figure, you get like that perfect balance. And
Uh-huh.
that's what I like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's what it was for me. It was like I said, it was like best of both worlds. Like it was gritty and it was like super rock and roll, but it was like a woman's voice. And I
Yeah.
was just like, hell yeah, I could do that.
I'd also just like to point out, like before we did this interview, so my full-time job, I'm a heavy music publicist, and my work colleague Dave, he does your radio. Um,
Oh, cool.
yeah, so we were listening to Slow Burn like before it came out. So I'd also just like to point out that I fucking love Conquer Divide,
Thank
for those
you.
same reasons as well. So
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of that album. So thank you.
I love that album. Been rinsing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do listen to it quite a lot, actually. And I'm not ashamed to
That's
admit
good. That's great. That's a great sign.
that.
More of that.
Otherwise, yeah, otherwise I feel like if I don't like my own music, then like how can I expect anyone else to?
That's a
So, yeah.
good statement.
Yeah.
Going back to Paramore, I find that usually the first song you hear from your favorite band, because it holds so much like nostalgia and significance, will always like remain your favorite song sometimes. So you said there that Misery Business was the first one you heard. Has
Hmm.
that remained your favorite song, or have you had more that have kind of overtaken it since then when you started discovering more?
I mean, it's definitely like still in my top. Um, but it's so hard. Like I'm so bad at picking favorites when it comes to anything. Um, I don't think it would be my number one, but I can't say what my number one would be.
Okay.
Um, but I do think there are other Paramore songs that I like more than that. Like anytime it comes on, I'm not skipping it, you
Yeah.
know? So like it still is up there for me. But sometimes when I think of Paramore, that's not like the first song that I think of
Okay.
anymore,
Which
unless it's
is
specifically, huh?
which is the first one you think of?
I think it depends like on my mood, you know?
Hmm.
I think like the way that my brain works, like I am very like word associated. I don't know if that's the right way to say that, but like I'll hear like a word and it will like trigger something in my
Hmm.
brain, like, and I'll just start singing a random song in my head. So I think it just depends on like the day,
Yeah.
um, and my mood. Like I go through like phases of listening to like only this artist or only this album for a really long time.
I do that too.
Um, yeah, so I think it just depends. Like recently the one I've been listening to the most is called One of Those Crazy Girls. And I never even like I kind of fell off of Paramore for a little while, so that album that song is on, I never really like listened to it.
Okay.
And then I listened to that song and I was like, why didn't I like listen to this album? And now I've just been like listening to that one a lot.
Hmm.
Um but yeah, I don't think I can pick a top of out of all of them. It's just too hard to do.
Okay. So instead of just picking one, besides their usual suspects and top tracks like Misery Business and Still Into You and The Only Exception, what other, I guess, like hidden gems that aren't like always in the mainstream media would you recommend people listen to?
Um, from the Riot album, I feel like Fences is really kind of a hidden gem. Um, Also, I feel like hi, Kitty.
Okay, you can go back to
I
sleep now.
love him. I was hoping I was going to see a kitten. Um, also, the album After Laughter. Um, I really love that album. Like the first time I listened to it, I was like, this is okay. And then the more I listened to it, I was like, this album is the best.
Yeah.
Off of that album, though, I really like Rose Colored Boy. Um, I don't know that that is like a hidden gem. I don't know how well other people know that one, but I really like Rose Colored Boy. I would recommend that. And if you need a little bit of a cry, I would recommend listening to 26.
I don't think I know that song. Why is that one so cry-worthy?
It's kind of like about like getting older and like wanting to give up on your dreams.
Oh,
And I think the first time I heard it, I was 26 years old, and I was like, oh my god.
hashtag relatable.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but also like I kind of mentioned my love for Hayley Williams. I also I mostly these days listen to like her solo albums.
Okay.
So she has Petals for Armor and then Flowers for Vases. There might be other ones that I don't know about, but I feel like the first one is not super like a crying album, but the second one is a crying album. So depends on what mood you're in.
Sometimes you just gotta let it all out.
Sometimes you just want to like get in the shower, turn on some sad music, and just cry
Oh,
a little
yeah.
bit.
Maybe sit on the
So
floor, curl up if you've
yeah,
got the space.
yeah, in the fetal position. Yeah, totally. And I can always recommend songs for those moments.
It's interesting though that you mentioned Hayley Williams solo stuff because one of the reasons I love doing these interviews is it forces me to take a deep dive into bands that I only really know the big songs of. And Paramore's been one of them. Like I only really knew the big hits and what was on like MTV or Kerrang. So I didn't know she had solo stuff. So what is it about her solo stuff that you are more drawn to over Paramore these days?
As I've gotten older, I've been more like interested in like softer, like acousticy sounding stuff that's like a little bit more emotional and raw. Um, and when those when those two albums came out, when the first one came out, I feel like it was just so different from what Paramore does.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously I love her voice and then I love like acoustic stuff. One of my other like top favorite artists is Lorde. So it kind of felt like if Hayley Williams and Lorde like had a baby. And I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of the songs on there are like, especially on Flowers for Vases, are really like emotional. And there's some where it just feels like it's like just her and a guitar.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that's like all you really need, you know? Um, so it's like I can see Hayley Williams making this music, but I can't see Paramore making this music, you know?
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, it does.
Because it's just
like,
not, yeah, it's not as heavy, you know? Which is
yeah.
weird to say because Paramore is not that heavy, but like in comparison.
Yeah. But it's true though. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
with Paramore or like any band, you wouldn't get those same songs if it was any other combination of musicians. So and I know Hayley Williams has been quite vocal over the years about like Paramore is not just her, it's the whole band. So obviously when she does her solo stuff, it is just her. And you do just get like all of Hayley Williams with no like editing to it or outside infiltration.
Yeah, I remember before one of the albums was released, and she was just posting like videos online of like just her playing playing on her guitar, and just like, doing acoustic versions or like raw acoustic versions of like songs that were already out. And I remember just being like, it's crazy to me that this is just what she sounds like. Like just her recording herself on her phone, just her and her guitar, like no editing. And it's just like, I cannot believe someone can sound this good all the time.
Yeah, of course. You mentioned a little bit earlier as well, obviously, like Hayley Williams is a huge vocal influence on you. And Clonk and Divide at the moment have two full-length albums, 2015's self-titled and the aforementioned Slow Burn. So how has your love of Paramore influenced your own music writing, both when you started writing music and how you write music now?
So, okay, I started writing music like on my own, like me and my big sister, when I was probably like, I don't know, the first song we ever wrote, I was probably like 10 years old. And it was just, stupid little bops that little 10-year-olds write.
Mm-hmm.
Then I continued like writing songs with my sister. They were very like Avril Lavigne-esque. Like if I like sang one for you now, I'd be like, oh yeah, you can tell you like only listen to Avril Lavigne. And then as I got older and started listening to Paramore, I continued writing music just for myself. Music that is not out because it's really not that good. Um, you could really hear like the difference in song structure and the way that I like was able to manipulate my voice in different ways from that. Um, I would say that on our self-titled album, I feel like my vocals were a little bit more influenced by Hayley Williams, because I still hadn't really like found my voice, and I wasn't really great at being just Kia. And so a lot of things on that first album, I feel like I either am like mimicking Hayley Williams or Demi Lovato, but there's not a lot of like me in there.
Yeah.
And then I feel like by the time we got to the second album, so much time had passed that I feel like even though I still have those influences, um, they don't come out as much because there is like me weaved in there. Um, as far as like songwriting goes, like lyrically and stuff, I feel like I'm more influenced by the vocals of Paramore, but my songwriting influence actually comes from like other places.
Okay.
And not necessarily with Paramore, especially because like I don't really help with Conquer Divides, like writing the instrumentals and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I mostly help with like lyrics and a little bit of melody. So I'm sure there is some melody that like comes from that. Um, but as far as my lyric writing, it comes from like other places that are not Paramore, that are maybe Hayley Williams like acoustic stuff, but not
Mm-hmm.
necessarily like Paramore influenced, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that does. It's funny that you mentioned like when you were writing lyrics and songs when you were like 10 years old, because I did exactly the same thing. Like I have
Uh-huh.
notebooks full of lyrics that should never see the light of day.
Yeah.
And it's like you
Yeah,
kind
they're
of
like a little bit embarrassing.
yeah, and well, at least I did. I found I was like writing the same song over and over with the same melody, just with like different words. Like I would write a song that sounds exactly like a song I had just listened to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I have one like that where it was like, okay, you obviously just copied like JoJo's Get Out. Like you just literally just rewrote that song. There was another one I was like, because like most of them I still remember, and like sometimes they'll pop into my head. And there was one I remember that I wrote, and I was like, this is literally that song. There's a Pink song that like I don't even know what it's called, but I remember when I was like singing my little ditty in my head, I'm like, this is literally that Pink song. And I remember when I was younger being like, Pink stole this song from me, and me being, and then like realizing like, I'm pretty sure she wrote it first. I'm
That's
like, how
quite
did she know?
that's quite funny. Imagine like being a 10-year-old and going into a law firm and being like, I would like to sue Pink for stealing my lyrics, please.
Yeah, and they're like, this song is older than you.
Right? But like in your 10-year-old brain, that just doesn't compute.
Yeah, yeah. I'm just like, I am so original. Everyone copies me.
So you said you discovered Paramore around like about like high school age, like driving age, I guess, in America as well. Had you have you ever had a chance to see them in a live setting?
Yeah, I saw them for the first time um last year.
Okay, so
My friend took me for my birthday.
uh,
Um yeah, so I mean it only took until I was 30 years old, but I did see them, and we had like relatively good seats, and I remember being like, I can't believe I'm so close to them right now. It was amazing. Like it was hands down the best show I've ever been to. Um, I just love watching them and like being in a crowd full of like people that also like just love it as much as I do. It was so amazing, and she looked so beautiful and so tiny,
Oh.
and she just sounded so amazing. And like I was watching some of the videos the next day, like some of the videos that I had taken, and I was like, God, I wish I would have just shut up so I could like rewatch it and hear just her, and not me just like yelling at the top of my lungs.
Oh, I love
But
those.
yeah, it was an amazing concert. My friend that took me bought me a hoodie from their merch, and I wear it all the time. Yeah, it was amazing. I wish that I could afford like traveling alongside them and just going to every show on the tour.
Honestly, I envy people who can do that so much. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
how do you not have a job? How are
Yeah,
you
how do
affording
you
this?
do this? Yeah.
It's
Yeah, if I
insane.
could, I absolutely would. And I don't think there's any other artist that I would do that for, but I
Mm.
would totally do that for them. It was amazing. Like, no complaints. Perfect.
So
Well,
how?
one complaint. I wish she would have called me on stage to sing with her.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Always.
Even though I probably would have like peed my pants and like been so awful and scared, but still.
Would have been worth it.
Yeah, totally worth it. 100%.
So how come it took you so long to like finally go and see them live then?
I don't know. I feel like there was a while where they just weren't touring.
Mm.
And then I remember they came back and they did go on tour. And I think I was also on tour,
Right.
like, and it didn't like line up. Um, and then I think like, I don't know. I feel like every time there was a chance to see them on tour, it was like, oh, the tickets are so expensive. I don't know if I could do it. Um, yeah, I honestly I don't know. Like when my friend told me she got them for me, at first I was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a cool gift. And then like every day that got closer, I was like, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Um, so I guess I don't know. I think in my brain I just never was like, this is something I have to do, you
Yeah.
know? And I wish that I would have seen them a lot sooner so that like I could be saying right now, like, oh yeah, that was my fifth time seeing them. But at least I got to go.
We'll do this again in 5 years and you can be like, I've seen them 5 times now.
Yeah, yeah. I really hope I can see them again very soon. It was
Yeah.
crazy because it was like in a huge like arena. And so I don't know, it was so sick to like be as close as I was when I could have been like all the way back there.
Yeah.
It was so cool. So cool. 10 out
I,
of 10.
I like that you said there it was cool seeing them with obviously like loads of other Paramore fans because I've always
Yeah.
been like as cool as festivals are, if I'm seeing a band I love and enjoy, I'd rather go see them on a headline show because you do have that like joint camaraderie of knowing everyone is there for exactly the same reason. Whereas
Uh-huh. Yeah.
you see a band in a festival setting, there's a lot of people in the crowd that are just seeing a band for the sake of seeing a band. And you
Mm-hmm.
can kind of like sometimes get that vibe as well. So definitely seeing your favorite bands on a headline stadium show
Mm-hmm.
is absolutely the way to do it.
Yeah, and being like, wow, everyone else that's here, this is probably also their favorite band
Mhm.
or like in their top favorite band. Like, I feel like that's with, like you said, like any show that you go to. I went and saw Honey Revenge a couple months ago, and it was it was their headlining tour, and it was so sick. I remember at one point, like she got everyone to do a circle pit, which was insane because like when you listen to Honey Revenge, that music doesn't really give me circle pit vibes. But
Okay.
she just literally went circle pit, and everyone just did it. And I remember like running around in the pit, and then like just like the pit kind of ended, and I was next to this girl I literally have never seen in my life and probably will never see again. And we were just like looking at each other and like singing along and like having a good time. And I'm like, I don't even know this girl, but like we're both here because we're like, hell yeah, like this is sick. And I feel like that is how I felt at Paramore, but like times like 50,000 or whatever the cap of that venue was. It was like, you know, every time I would look around, like, and I would see everyone else like singing along, and like everyone's so excited to be there. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. So
So sick.
this friend that you went with, was she, I'm assuming she, were they
Yeah.
also a huge Paramore fan, or did they just go with you as your birthday present?
Um, so she is a Paramore fan, but I don't think that she's as big of a Paramore fan as me. I don't think that like I don't know that she would have gone just to go. I think that she just got the tickets because she knew how much I loved them. But that's not to say that she doesn't like Paramore.
Yeah.
She does like Paramore.
That's a
I can't
good
be friends with
friend.
people who don't like Paramore.
I need to get me some more friends that just buy me concert tickets.
That's her love language, I think, is concert tickets.
Yeah. Oh, I feel that. Now that I like work in the music industry, I'm always trying to get my friends like plus ones. So one of the bands I work is Electric Callboy.
Okay. I know them.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I'm the same. Like every time I have plus ones now, I'm like, oh, who would love to come to the show for free? This person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so cool.
That's me giving
I
back.
want to see them again, like when I'm not working, you know,
Mm,
because it's so hard. Like, I never really got to watch their full set because I would always be like, okay, I have to go get ready to go back on stage with them.
yeah.
I would love to just like go to a show and not have to worry about like working or being present and just like just be there.
I'd
That'd be so
recommend it.
cool.
They're so fucking good.
Yeah, at Blue Ridge, Izzy and I went into their pit because I wasn't performing with them that day, but it was a shorter set, but it was still really sick. Like
Mhm.
we got to crowd surf. It was awesome.
Oh, amazing. They have a lot of pyro
Yeah.
as well, and I am a sucker for pyro.
Yeah, they really, really do.
Anyway, going back to Paramore, did you cry when you saw them?
I did cry. Um, it was when the show first started, and I literally said, "Oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna cry." And then I started to cry. And then my friend was like, are you crying because you're so excited or because you're like overwhelmed or are you disappointed? And I was like, I'm excited and I'm overwhelmed. I'm not disappointed at all. This is just so crazy. I can't believe how close I am to them. Um, it was just like, you know, like I had said, like at first I was like, oh yeah, that's a pretty cool gift. And then the moment, like every second that got closer, I was just like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then we were there, and then like we watched the first two bands, and then I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then they came out, and I was just like, like just sobbing. But it went away quickly because then I was like, all right, we got to just watch the show and enjoy the show.
Yeah, you can't
But
see
yeah,
through
I
tears.
did cry a little. No, yeah, I did cry a little, but
I feel
that's
that.
to be expected. I'm a crier.
Yeah, same here. I have exactly the same reaction every time I see Hailstorm. They're one of my
Okay.
favorite bands. I'm exactly the same.
You're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my
Even though I've seen them like 3, 4 times now, every time I'm like, this is the best day ever.
God. Yeah. I feel like anytime I ever see Paramore again, I'm always going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening.
So yes, the next question is then obviously like being in the music industry as well and being on tours and going to festivals, there is a chance that you could be in the same vicinity as Hayley Williams in the future.
Yeah.
How would you handle
Gulp.
So like if you just like walk backstage at a festival that Paramore are also playing and Hayley Williams is just there, what do you think you would do?
I feel like I would love to say, oh, I would be totally chill, but I probably wouldn't. I would honestly, I'd probably be like, oh my God, and then turn around and leave. Unless, like, I don't know, like, I feel like it depends on who I'm with too. Like, if Kristen from my band, if Kristen was with me, I feel like she'd be like, you have to go talk to her. I'll go with you. Let's do it. And then I would. But like if I was alone, oh my God, I feel like I would freak out.
Mm.
I don't feel like I'd be able to handle it. I don't know though. I wish that I could be like a cool guy and be like, it would be fine. But I just don't know if it would be fine. There's a lot of people that I feel like it would be fine, but she is one of them. I don't know. I don't know. I'm getting like anxious just thinking about it.
Do you think you would prefer to
I'm
like
like,
have it happen spontaneously, or do you want like some time to plan and prepare to meet her?
I don't know which one would be worse. Because I feel like if there is planning, the way that my brain works, I would be thinking of every single thing that could go wrong. But if it was spontaneous, I'd be like, I didn't know this was going to happen. I should
Yeah.
have worn something different. Should have done my hair different. You know, like I honestly don't know.
Yeah, literally I had exactly the same thing. I met Lizzie Hale twice last year. Um and the first time I met her, I knew it was going to happen. And I just started like writing a script in my head of all the things that I could say. And I was like, I don't want to freak her out, but I need to let her know how much she means to me. How do I do that
Yeah.
without freaking someone out? So I was like, and then when it actually came to
Yeah.
meeting her, I was just like, hey, I love your band. Thanks.
Yeah. It's so crazy because like I feel like I want people to know like I'm just a person. But then like when I like, there's nothing to be like scared of.
Hmm.
But then when I think of like meeting other musicians, sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I'm like not worthy of their presence, you know? But like I know in my head I'm like, no, you're being crazy. But yeah, I feel like I would be doing the same thing. I feel like I'd be doing one of those things where it's like you have like a fake conversation in your head and
Mhm.
like you play both parts. And like what if it goes badly? You know? Like what if
Yeah,
I say
like,
something stupid? Yeah. Oh God.
well, so I feel like I'm giving you like free anxiety about the possibility, or not the possibility, who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. It's okay. It's okay.
Well,
I
so be
I'll have
prepared.
I have so much time to prepare for the hypothetical situation.
Exactly.
Hopefully I'll be better if it does happen.
See, and then you'll thank me. You'll be like, thanks for bringing that up when you did, Jazmin, because I wasn't going to
Yeah.
plan for it, and now I planned for it. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna spend the rest of my day like, okay, what would I say?
so going back to, we're going to go all the way back because I forgot I had this question. When you
Okay.
discovered Paramore and you heard Misery Business, what happened after that? Like, did you buy the album that was from? Did you, like, where did you take this newfound appreciation from there?
Honestly, I feel like for a while, I just listened to that one song over and over again. And then I again had a friend, different friend, but for my birthday, bought me Demi Lovato's new album that had just come out, and then also um, he burned me a CD that had like a bunch of Paramore songs on them because this was in the days of like you just download a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
music and burn it onto a CD. So I had a friend like burn me a mix of like a bunch of Paramore and other stuff that he was like, oh, if you liked that, then you would like this too. And I don't even totally remember what else was on there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but then I just like mostly just hung out with my friends and like drove. I grew up in a small town. There was like nothing to do except for drive around in your car and listen to music. So we would just drive around and just listen to that album on repeat. Um, yeah, I never actually bought it like the physical one when I was younger. I'm so sorry, Paramore, but I did have the burned CD version.
You had the bootleg.
Yeah, like just on a plain white CD.
Didn't even have a title on
Yeah.
it. You just knew what it was.
Yeah, you just like I think he wrote on it on Sharpie like Paramore and stuff.
So,
I wish I still had it. I had like one of those books in your car that has
mhm.
like all your burned CDs on it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you aware of like where they got their band name from?
I actually don't know. Do you know?
Ah, I did. I looked it up.
Ah, Okay, you'll have to tell me because I don't know.
So turns out, so the way that it's spelt was the maiden name of one of their ex-bassist's grandmother,
Okay.
but a different spelling of it, Paramour, means secret lover. So they kind
That's
of,
fancy.
yeah, they kind of kept it as
Play
like
on
a,
words.
yeah,
That's
cool,
so
right?
cool. Yeah, that's a good little fact. I can't believe I
All of
didn't know
those.
that. That's so cool. Yeah, I feel like I know that like Paramore is like a word with like the U. It
Hmm.
has a U in it, you said, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think I ever really made the connection between the
No,
two words, like
I
the
didn't
band name
either.
and the word. That's crazy.
I
That's so
like
cool.
I like
Thanks.
things like that. It's okay.
Yeah, that's so cool. Fun little fact.
Now you can take that with you wherever you go.
Uh-huh. And I'm going to tell everyone I discovered it all on my own.
That's all right. I'll give you that one.
It's okay. I'll give you credit.
So out of their 6 studio album discography, how would you rank them?
Oh my gosh. I don't even, if I'm being completely honest, I don't even know if I could name all six
Okay, well
off
we've
the top
got
of my head. Let me pull them up. Oh,
good idea.
you're going to just say them?
We've got 2005, All We Know Is Falling,
Okay.
2007's Riot, 2009's Brand New Eyes, 2013's
Ooh.
Self-Titled,
Hmm.
2017's After Laughter, and their latest one, 2023, This Is Why. Because I think you said earlier that there was one album you didn't really like give a lot of time to.
Yeah, I think it was This Is Why.
Mm.
Well, yeah, I've never really listened to This Is Why. Um, I've listened to some of the songs on it, but I've never listened to it all the way through. If I have, maybe it's only been once or twice.
Hmm.
I'm the type of girl that I listen to all the same stuff, and it's hard for me to find new stuff, even if it's the same band that I love. I think my favorite, I'm looking at the list. Oh God, my top three are After Laughter, Riot, and Brand New Eyes. But I don't know which one. I think Brand New Eyes is probably my number one.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Riot number two and After Laughter number three. After that, I'll put All We Know Is Falling. And then those other two, I never really listened to those ones,
Yeah.
which is kind of crazy.
I get what you mean though. Like this is why I love well, this is why. This is
Yeah.
why this is why I love doing these interviews because like I said, my day job is in music. So unless I'm listening to the bands I'm working or my childhood bands, I find it so hard to get into new music. So
Yeah.
doing this kind of like it forces me to listen to bands I wouldn't usually give like my own free time to.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I can't even remember which album it was. One of they came out with a new song when I was like working in retail, and I just remember I heard the song and I didn't really like it because it was like different. And sometimes like especially when you're younger and you're like, my favorite band made a change,
Yep.
which is like bands have to do that. But I think I remember like when I heard like that one specific song being like, I don't really like that one. So I feel like I never gave it a chance. And I think that's why, like I was saying earlier, I recently discovered that song, One of Those Crazy Girls. And I'm like, why didn't I give this a chance? Like this song is so sick.
Yeah, I get
Like
that.
and so now I'm like, now that I'm older and wiser, I'm like, okay, I just need to go back and like listen to them because I know that I'm gonna like it.
Yeah.
Cause like I've liked everything else that they've done. So like why wouldn't I?
I think it's just like the shock at first. Like if you go into something with expectations from what you like from them, if it's not immediately what you want, it's hard to keep that open mind. And then I
Yeah, for
think
sure.
if you give it a little bit more time and then go back to it,
Yeah.
World changes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, totally. I feel like I just need to go back and listen to it because that one song, like I said, like I've been obsessed with it lately. And I'm like, I could have been obsessing over this song for years instead of just like a couple months.
Yeah. So there could have been so
I
much
was
more
missing out.
time.
Yeah, we could have had so much more time together.
Speaking of, so Williams and the rest of the band were scouted when they were like just teenagers. And she was around like 14 years old. How
Yeah, crazy.
different do you think their music and concept would have been had they been older?
Well, I know I've heard her say like express some regrets about like misery business and how it felt a little bit like slut shamey.
Mm-hmm.
Like looking back. I think that I think they probably would have started a little bit further down their journey, I guess. Like I feel like they would have started with this different sound like you hear on like After Laughter. I feel like they would have started there
Mm-hmm.
instead of where they started. But like if they would have started there, I don't think I would be as like into them as I was because like I said earlier, like After Laughter like had to kind of grow on me
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, okay, I have to give this a chance. And I'm so glad that I did because it's like one of my favorites. Um, but yeah, I feel like they would have probably started with a totally different sound. But I mean, who knows? Maybe we wouldn't have Misery Business at all. Maybe we would still have it and it just would lyrically be like a little bit different.
Yeah, it's
But yeah,
interesting.
14 is insane.
Yeah, it's interesting as well that like you tend to discover your lifetime favorite bands whilst you're in that like little teenage period. And obviously songs like Misery Business and the rest of the music from All We Know Is Falling and Riot have that like angsty grit to them. And I feel like
Mm-hmm.
as a teenager getting into music, that's what you need at that time.
Yeah, yeah,
So
totally.
like if they had been a little bit more like mature and more like toned down in their sound and like they lose that grit and edge, then they
Yeah, yeah, I
wouldn't.
feel like sorry, I'm sorry.
That's
I
all right,
cut
go
you off.
ahead. Go ahead.
Sorry. Um, yeah, I feel like if like you said they had that like angsty like teenage um anger, you know? And I feel like it was super relatable to me. Like, you know, especially obviously like friendship breakups really suck, especially like no matter where you are in life, but I feel like when you're younger and you're a teenager, they happen a little bit more frequently
Mm-hmm.
because like you're just everyone is changing constantly. And I feel like there were so many of their songs where I'd be like, yeah, this is to that bitch from fourth period, you know? like and like and I feel like that is what really drew me in. Like you said, like I remember listening to Ignorance in the car with my friend and being like, oh yeah, this is so good. Like ignorance is your new best friend. Like this is so hard, you know, like and I feel like if we didn't have that angst, it wouldn't have like hit me the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, maybe it would have, but I really feel like feeling like she was very relatable to me
We do love the
because she
angst.
was, yeah, she was so angry. And so was I.
So I can see you've got a few tattoos, right?
yeah.
So if you could get any Paramore lyric tattooed on you, which one would you get and why? I feel like mine would be nothing compares to a quiet evening alone. That's I think that's like my most relatable lyric.
oh my gosh, that's so hard. There's so many.
There are so
I wish
many.
I would have I wish I would have had time to prepare. Um I think oh my god, I think am I okay?
No, that makes
I'm trying
sense.
to
I
I'm
get
trying to
that.
think of the lyric in my
Same
head.
wavelength.
um oh I think the lyric would be everybody sing like it's the last day you will ever sing.
Yeah,
I really like that.
that's a nice
That's
one.
a good one. Yeah. And I feel like it's like relatable to me because I sing.
There we go. Where would you get
um
it?
oh, I don't know. I don't know. I've never thought about getting like lyrics tattooed on me.
I've got
Maybe like Oh, maybe like down the side of my neck would be cool. Like in
Ooh,
cursive, like a little line.
I like that. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I've got a Guns N' Roses lyric tattooed on me. Nothing lasts forever, even cold November rain. And I've
Where is
also
that at?
that one, I've got a jumper on at the moment, but my arms are covered in tattoos.
Oh,
And
okay.
I've got that's like between two skulls on my arm. And I've
Cool.
got another lyric, and the lyric is just, it's all for rock and roll.
Hell yeah.
Straight to the point.
Hell yeah, that's good.
Yeah, see,
This is totally unrelated, but do you have a cutout of Nicolas Cage behind you?
yes. There is a reason for that, I swear.
I love Nicolas Cage, dude. I love Nicolas Cage. I just watched literally like 2 nights ago The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
It's amazing, right?
It's so good, dude. So good.
But my
At first I was like, there's someone behind you, and then I was like, oh, it's Nicolas Cage.
my housemate is obsessed with Nicolas Cage, and everyone knows that. So everyone just sends her Nicolas Cage merch, which is why we have that. She's also got I'm just gonna have to send you photos of the fucking shit she's got
Yeah.
in her room. She's got like her whole wall is just a flag of Nicolas Cage, and she's also
So cool.
got a blanket of Nicolas Cage in a banana.
Why is he in a banana?
I
I want to
think
get one of
it's
those
ridiculous.
pillows, that's like the sequins and
She's
you.
got that as well.
I want that so bad. So it's crazy. I love how much I love and hate him. Like
And
I
hate him.
just
Why hate
yeah,
him?
I don't know. Like I mostly just love him, but like I feel like for so long of my life, I was like, I really don't like Nicolas Cage. And then I realized like I think I just like him so much
Right.
that I didn't know what to do with all of those feelings.
Yeah, I get that. You hate that you love him.
Yeah, like as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, you're right. I do love him.
You've been in denial for so long.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I love him.
This is actually the perfect segue for my next question. Are you a fan of band merch?
Of band merch?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like that's basically all I wear most of the time.
I
Like
feel
band
that.
merch in general.
Yeah, well, my next question is going to be, do you have any Paramore band merch?
Yeah, I have so I have a hoodie that my friend got me from the Paramore show. It
Yeah,
says
you
like
told me.
running out of time on it. So every time I wear it, I just walk around all day singing, I'm always running out of time, like nonstop.
Yeah.
It's kind of insane. I also have it's not a Paramore shirt. Oh, hi.
Oh, he's going to get on
It's
my
not,
shoulder.
I
Oh,
love that he's a little parrot kitty.
he
Rare.
loves being on my shoulder. So, yeah, so this hoodie you got from the show, it's got running out of time on it, and that is always stuck in your head every time you wear it.
Yes, nonstop. Every time I put it on, I am singing it all day. And then I'll like take it off, hang it up when I get to work, go back to put it on, and I'm like, oh, there it is again. I also have a t-shirt that I got from Hayley Williams merch.
Okay.
So it's got pedals for armor on it. And then I used to have another Paramore one, but it was like a cream color shirt. And
Okay.
I basically only wear black. So like I'll buy stuff that's like not black and I'm like, I'll wear this because like the design is cute and then I never wear it. So I think I still have that somewhere, but I just never wear it because it's not black.
Yeah, I feel that. Me and my dad have this conversation quite a lot because we go to gigs together whenever we can. And he's been telling me that, so like I come from a small island like off the coast of England, so like I don't see him that often. But every time I go to a gig that he would have wanted to come to, he's like, "Oh, if they've got a white band shirt, can you get me a white band shirt, please? Because I don't have enough of them." So rare that there's any white band shirts anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to sell like a white shirt like long ago. and it just felt like it never sold. So we just never like replaced it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like most of our merch is black, like when we go on tour, because that's like what we sell the most of.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard to like know what else is going to sell, especially at our size. Like we really have to be careful what we spend our money on because printing merch is so expensive. And so like it's hard to like keep a white shirt in rotation when it's
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we might only sell 2 or 3 of these, but if we got it in black, we'd probably sell like 10. So it's
I,
tricky.
I tend to like white, like vest
Oh
ones,
yeah.
like sleeveless ones.
Yeah.
Good shout. They're good for summer.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds like it would be. I feel like I would like an acid wash cut off would be
Mm.
cool.
Oh my God,
But
you
you
should do
know,
that.
I'm just not a white shirt kind of girl.
It always gets too messy as well.
Yeah, I feel like I never spill anything and then I wear white and I spill it all over myself.
Or maybe you do spill it, but because you're always wearing black, you just never
Yeah.
notice.
That's probably more accurate. And I've literally never thought of that before, but you are probably
You're gonna
correct.
notice it all the time now.
Yeah, now I'm just gonna be like, oh my God, when did that get there?
So I have
Yikes.
one more question for you, and then I'll let you go. If you
All
had
right.
to introduce Paramore to someone listening to them for the first time, which 3 songs would you choose that encapsulates their entire discography? So I guess that's
Okay.
like 3 songs for 3 different moods.
Okay. First of all, I would have to show them Misery Business because I feel like for a lot of people, maybe not, maybe just me, but I feel like for a lot of people, that was their introduction to
Yeah.
Paramore. I feel like it's a staple. And if you find out about Paramore, you have to know about Misery Business. Um, I feel like I'm just going to end up naming my favorite songs, but that's okay.
That is
Um,
more than okay.
I think, secondly, I would definitely show Rose Colored Boy because I feel like it is on that, for especially from that specific album, it's a good blend of the way their sound was headed, but also it did keep a lot of their old sound in it. Out
Hmm.
of the other songs on the album, I feel like that one had the best blend of like new and old sound. Number three.
Oh, one more choice.
Number three. I feel like it would have to be The Only Exception
Oh, yeah, that's a good song.
because then you have a little bit of a softer one, but that's also like a staple when it comes to Paramore. Because like you could choose 26 instead, but I feel like The Only Exception is one of their like very few like love songs.
Hmm.
So I feel like that would have to be the third one because it's like a chill version of Paramore.
It's like so
I'm
much
satisfied with those.
good. I'm glad. That's what we like. It's a nice stripped back sound as well.
Uh-huh.
You can just chill
Yeah.
to it.
Which is what I that as you know, it's what I like the most
Oh, amazing.
in general. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for the chat this evening. It's been great to finally talk to you. I've been trying to get this interview in for a while, so it's been great to meet you as
Yeah,
well.
thank you so much. Yeah.
And I hope you had a
Nice to
good
meet
time.
you. I did. I had so much fun.
Good, I'm glad. And I can't wait for you guys to come to the UK because I love Conquer Divide. So
Yay. Yeah. I
fingers
hope we
crossed it
see you
happens soon.
there.
Thank you for listening to I'm Your Biggest Fan. If you enjoyed what you heard, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, send it to your nan in the post. Every little helps. You can follow us everywhere at biggestfan_pod. Follow me everywhere at wrathchild_jazz. Noizze at Noizze UK on everything. Noizze Podcast Network at Noizze Podcast Network on everything. And Satanic Tico at Satanic Tico and at Pitch Black Nor. If you have a band member in mind that you think would be perfect for this podcast, perfect for this topic of conversation, or maybe you are the band member and you're the super fan, drop us a comment, drop us an email. All other info can be found below in the description. And thanks again for listening. We'll catch you soon.